we're going to improve this drawing I made back in 2011.
In retrospect, I have to say it is quite impressive given the fact that I just graduated from college a few months after that and I didn't even get an art degree. I just really love to draw and I wanted to have an art career rather than go corporate. However, I can see things that back then I might have missed or I probably saw it but I just can't put my finger on what is off.
I would have loved someone to help me point out those mistakes. However, I'm afraid of reaching out because I'm so scared of people telling me I suck and would say things to me because that would tank my self-esteem when it was already so low.
Anyway, I'm just gonna do some tweaks and I will explain the reasoning behind the fixes that I will do in the hope that it will help you in some way in checking your drawings. For this, I'm not even gonna do it digitally. I would just use traditional paper, pencil, and inks to show you that you don't need to use computers for this. But I will use this thing which is a lightbox. I DIY'd this one but you can buy it easily on your favorite online store. You'll find out soon why we need this. You might recognize the armor style and that is because if I remember correctly, this is like my fan character for the video game Valkyrie Profile. I just really love the design of that game. At first glance, this may be hard to notice immediately because of the fact that the body is covered in armor and a long skirt. Let's put this in the light box and I'm gonna put another paper on top of this. You can see that the drawing is still visible even though there's paper on top and that's why you need a light box. This is what it looks like if I turn off the light box. In order for us to see what's up, we're gonna draw the basic shape of her body. I'm gonna use a red pencil for this so it doesn't get confusing. Now, if you like to learn how to draw the body in basic shapes, feel free to click the eye icon on top or check the links in the description below. Let's turn off the light so you can see it better. There's technically nothing wrong with this proportion but I'm pretty certain that my intention back then was to draw an adult woman with a sexy model build. This particular proportion is more suitable for a teenager or what is called the schoolgirl. I probably just made that up but you know what I mean, the ones you see in anime. Seeing this in basic shape, I also think we can make the pose more appealing by exaggerating the bend of the upper body quite a bit. To be honest with you, I can't remember why I drew the pose like this, like all the context had been erased from my brain. Moving on, let's remove the old drawing for now and I will just add another paper. I will just redraw the basic shape of the body into the proportion I want. To exaggerate the pose, I'm just gonna adjust the angle of the head so that she's looking further up. Not too much because we don't want it to look like this. From here, let's draw a curved line as a guide on how I want the body to bend. So let's just follow this line as we draw the body. By turning the light box on, we can see the difference between the old proportion. I'd like the size of the head to be the same but we're just going to lengthen the entire body to match the proportion. I'm also thinking of making the sword a bit bigger simply because big swords are impressive. I had to include the basic shape of the sword as well because I need to see where the hand holds the sword. I also want to change the pose of the arm that's closer to the camera so that both hands are holding the handle of the sword. Let's apply some proportion to the sword because I just think it looks ridiculous if the sword is being held at this angle. Let's also raise this leg so the pose looks even more dynamic, like she's sleeping or something. The other leg is also following the curved line we did earlier. Alright, here's what we have so far. Now, if we add some wings, that's gonna be more impressive. Nah, just kidding. Let's not deviate too far from the old drawing. But I'm gonna have to do something with that glaring white space. More on that later. Alright, let's work on the details. I actually do like the design of the armor. Probably just need to add a mini skirt or something. Yep. The most glaring issue I can see in the clothing is around the sleeve. I can tell I tried but the volume is still a bit off. So we're gonna fix that in our new drawing and also improve the ruffle so it doesn't look like a paper cutout. There we go. Let's also modify the belt thingy and make it more like a 3/4 view rather than a full side view because when you lift your leg up like this, the tendency is the pelvis is gonna twist a bit, especially if the other leg is stretched out like that. So let's make that adjustment and add some volume while we're at it. I kinda want to depict some movement to make this even more dynamic and appealing. To do that, we're gonna make the skirt flow at the back like there's a wind underneath because she jumped. We're also going to apply the same thing on her very long hair which solves the white space problem as well. Let's press on with drawing the rest of the details, and while I'm working on this, I'd like to ask you something. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.
Would you like to get a critique like this in your own drawings? Maybe you see something off but you can't figure out what it is, and what you need is another pair of eyes that can help you out. Or does this type of critique make you feel uneasy and you feel like it might stifle your style? Or do you find it offensive or something? I honestly would like to hear your opinions. I really need some data basically.
Anyway, here is the clean sketch of the drawing. Let's just do some inking. I'm not gonna go insane with it. I'm just gonna follow it similarly to the old drawing. Just some hatching here and there, and probably also just improving the clothing folds a bit. Maybe some extra effects here and there as well. Now, let's have a comparison. This is my drawing from 2011, and this is the new version. Here's a side-by-side comparison. How much did it improve, do you think?
It's still mind-blowing to me that this was drawn 13 years ago. I've been doing art for so long, and after all these years, I still prefer these good old pens to ink traditionally.
I just really like them more compared to those fancy pens and nibs. If you like to learn some techniques I used to ink this drawing, I happen to have a video here that you can watch. Click it to learn more.